Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise and this reading is for Sunday, October 11th. Okay, so 5 cards for the day in order to help us spiritually grow. What is it that we most need to know? Okay. And as usual, I'm using the Light Seer's Tarot. So we have the Emperor reversed, 8 of Swords reversed, 9 of Swords, 7 of Cups, and the 5 of Swords reversed. Okay, so with the theme for the day, well, goodness, with the 9 of Swords, for some of us, we could just have a headache. Could be as simple as that. It could be that we didn't sleep well the night before. So Saturday night, do the best that you can to make sure that you get enough rest. And try to let go of any worries. The 9 of Swords can be sometimes, just high anxiety and some depression. If that's the case, if any of you are going through a depressing time, the best way to handle that is to let yourself feel your feelings. Go as deep as you can without feeling completely, well, just set the whole situation up ahead of time to let your guardian angels and your guides and the forces of love and God, Great Spirit, whatever, higher consciousness and your higher self is deep down inside of you and every cell of your body as well. So call in the forces, call in the troops and set the intention to let yourself feel whatever it is that is keeping this mental, regret or whatever it is keeping this kind of swirling in place. And if you set the intention to get in touch with whatever the false belief is, because we're at the 9 stage, we're at the epitome, and we're just about to break through and leave it all behind. So whenever we can get in touch with, whatever false belief is holding the vicious circle in place, then we can dismantle it. But if we avoid it, if we go through, like if with the with the Emperor being a 4, this is all about, when it's straight up, it's about being in your own authority. When it's reversed, there's an element of not fully being in who you truly are when you're interacting with the world, when you're moving through your everyday life. So to get in touch with your inner authority, what you have to do is break through those false beliefs. And, the swords, because we have 3 of them here for this day. It's about some beliefs that are, there's a dualistic pattern in place that is causing the spin. So the dualistic pattern can have to be with, like, let's say somebody has been making you feel bad, and then or making you feel like you've done something terribly wrong, and so therefore you're just terribly bad. Well, it's painful going through something like that, especially if it's someone that you love and you've been doing your best just to love them through whatever issues they're going through. But let's imagine that they're projecting that onto you. And because if they don't want to take responsibility, if they don't want to be in their own inner authority and know that they're projecting their pain onto you, then what happens is you're in transference with them. So you have to remove yourself, and it's painful, but you have to do your grieving. And that's the only way to release yourself. With the 8 of Swords straight up, we're in that realm of being, restricted somehow. And if it's in relationship, then the more you don't get inside your authority, then you're stuck in this, like, it's your own self-created little prison, and it's not fun. But it's self-imposed. Now, when it's reversed, you're free. And notice how we have the 8 and the 9 of Swords here. So you're free when it's reversed. So, and that's what I'm saying. I think this has to do with a relationship. And it's okay, you know, just love them where they are, but just know that if they're projecting something onto you to make you bad or wrong, or, you know, like, yeah, just, you know, good or bad. If they're projecting any of that on you, I mean, because no human is 100%, you know, good in our humanity. We're here in Earth School in order to, you know, in order to get back to who we truly are, which deep down inside is this, you know, just perfect ball of love, where you can't even have a negative thought. But here on Earth, we go through all these stages trying to get back to who we really are, you know, trying to get back to our inner authority. And along the way, you know, we run into others who want to make us responsible for their happiness. So if there's some type of need to make everyone happy, then you're going to have relationships where sometimes they put you on a pedestal and sometimes they knock you off. And so you're either, you know, you're right or wrong, or you're good or bad. And, you know, then you're in this dualistic split of either them winning or you winning. And it's awful. So to get out of that, you have to just let them have the last word, but you don't have to engage. You just need to pull yourself away and grieve. And then you can create this space where going through the pain maybe will help you get in touch with someone in your family who made you feel this way in the past. You know, and it can go way back. It can go way back to even toddler times. And if it goes back to even further than that, that's pre-verbal. You're not going to have words to explain it, but you're going to feel it in your emotional body. So clearing out whatever pain needs to happen, but loving yourself through it is what will prevent depression. That's what that's all about. I mean, depression is just a repression of your emotional body. So if you're getting into situations with others where there's emotionally reactive material coming up, you know, from them onto you, and then vice versa, and it goes back and forth, you're going to be in a vicious circle. You're going to be in a spin. But the second you decide, like let's imagine you're 99% right and 1% wrong. Well, if you dive into that place where you're 1% wrong, there's your freedom. There's your freedom, because once you extricate yourself from these relationships where they're beating you up, or trying to make you be the bad guy because they're not in their heart with you, and they're not letting you know what's going on for them. Instead, they're trying to make you be the parent for them, or make you out to be the bad guy, you know, the terrible bad guy. And these types of relationships happen with siblings all the time, where you know, like there's the black sheep in the family, and there's the good cop and the bad cop with the parents. There's all types of family dynamics that we come into, we are born into. And I believe we do choose our parents, but we do it in order to come into terms with our false beliefs from a last, you know, prior lifetime that we were not yet able to heal. You know, something that we took to our death at the moment of, you know, crossing over, that made you feel like you either did something wrong, or you were bad, or that you made an unforgivable mistake, or, you know, just something that is very, very limiting and doesn't completely surrender to your spirit. So it's like at the moment of death, if you can just say, you know, I surrender, I put all of me into the hands of my great spirit, or greater spirit, or put my spirit into the hands of God, whatever you want to call it. Put my spirit into the hands of love, 100%, you know, whatever that intention is in our last breath, that's where we end up for our next life. But, you know, it can take 1 year, 2 years, 3, well, at least 1 year, because, you know, an infant, if you go out and you come right back in, you still have that 9-month downtime, right? It's just how it works. But and then there's a whole nother subject on like parallel lifetimes. So that one I don't really know about, honestly. But if you have dreams like that that make you wonder, then it's very possible. I think probably just about anything is possible, as long as it's in alignment with. When you're trying to decide if something's possible or not, it's important to understand, to ask yourself, does this belief system further, growth on a personal level? And if it does, then it could be true. But these ridiculous false beliefs around like eternal damnation, that's not true. Needing to fear God or the laws of the universe, that's not true. I mean, it's a web of love that we live in. We just need to keep opening to it. And we have each other. We can look to each other to say, oh yeah, look at there's so much good in life. But when you've had these challenging times, needing to break through and make a brand new choice and release yourself from that inner conflict, these two cards here are beautiful as far as looking at releasing. With the Eight of Swords reversed, we are open to a whole new perspective. And we've looked, when you look into the mirror for your false belief and you're not tied, like if you just notice here in the image, well here, let me get it closer. See how she has these like cords around her? Well, the cords are nothing more than false beliefs and where you move away from not taking, self-responsibility. Where you move away from taking self-responsibility. But when you look into the mirror as to like how I got myself here, what's it really about? Which doesn't make you bad or wrong at all. It just means that you are in some trauma. It's just that we have reattracted some trauma so that we can heal it, because that's our task in each lifetime, is to heal the past. Now, with the Nine of Swords, that has to do with, of course, needing to feel the pain and to get yourself out of that intense anxiety. And the only way to do that is to feel your feelings. And I think I've discussed that quite a bit. And then from there, you have new choices. Many, many, many new choices. Lots of options are free. But until we do this healing work, we keep going back. Until we get into the authority of who we truly are, we will be drawn back, just like you need to, like if you have a garden planted, you need to keep pulling the weeds in order to have the healthy garden. It's exactly the same. But once they're free, then, you keep the weeds out long enough, or you keep the weeds out. It's different than nature, because you're not going to keep, with nature, the wind blows and they carry seeds, and there's always going to be weeds. But with the soul substance, that's not the case. When you pull out all the weeds, then you have so many more options. And then with the Five of Swords, it's it's that place where it is painful. Even straight up, with straight up, it's more of the deep inner conflict, and you're in that battle, inside. And this is all about the dualistic battle of that either or place, where it's either good or bad, or right or wrong, or there's pleasure or pain. Well, the truth is in life there's good and bad, there's right and wrong. But that doesn't mean that people are inherently bad or wrong. It just means that, they made a mistake, or you made a mistake. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that, you have to get into that battle. Now, with the Five of Swords reversed, at this place, we're open to change. And we're trying to get through all the way through the pain and through the sorrow and the loss, and let go of any, vengeful feelings if they come up. If they come up, it's okay, it's normal. Journal it, just don't act on it, but notice how you feel when you go there. Notice how you feel when you're in that place where you want to get even. It doesn't feel good. So if you want to keep, creating that, it's not going to be in alignment with who you really are, and it's going to keep bringing you back to this place where you regret it, and then you're going to have to come back here and go, oh, just look at the image on the card. It's like, oh, This isn't the right way to go. This is the warring card. This is the battle card. This is the, you might win. You might win the battle, but you lose the war. You might win the fight, but you lose the friend. You might win the argument, but you lose, someone's respect because you engaged. So it's better if it's reversed, because from that place, then there's the release. So I think that's all I have to say about that. This is one of those teaching days, rather than what I really want to say is that this little spread here can teach us about how to move through life and how to heal, but it doesn't necessarily mean that any of this is going to happen to you this day. I think it's just more of a teaching, honestly. I certainly hope no one wakes up with a headache, and I certainly hope you feel safe and you feel okay about going into any areas that you may have regretted in the past, and that you heal any that you don't repress any feelings that are coming up. Because when you allow your feelings to flow, when you allow yourself to go through your emotional reactions, and you do it in a way to try and understand where they're coming from. What was it that I really wanted when I had that emotional reaction come up? And when you get inside of all of that, then what happens is you clear it out and you free it up, and then those options come in, and then from there you're clear. And then when you keep doing that, and the clarity keeps coming through, your emotional body is purified to the point where you're in your own authority. And this does not have to be a male card. This is just about structure and inner authority. That's really, the spiritual meaning of the Emperor. It can have to do with the father figure, though. It can, with this reversed here, these issues can be related to a father who was, dominating and, just controlling. Inflexible, definitely rigid and controlling, because we're in a 4. It's a 4, so it's about structure. So whatever structure was controlling your childhood, if it was dominating and not in alignment with who you really are, it's just I know that one. It's really painful. But you have to go through the pain in order to find your own authority, and that would be the reason that you would incarnate into a family like that, is so that you can find your own authority. And when you can find your own authority, and you look into the mirror of your false beliefs and grieve and work to release them, you have all these new options, and then there's no more need for any type of fighting with any inner conflict. And as you do this and you keep doing this work, what happens is that at some point your emotional body is clear and it flows freely, and you can trust your feelings, and your feelings will guide you. And you won't naturally just fall into a place of fear constantly. Fear will become like this little wait, what's that? Why am I feeling that? And then you can question, well, am I trying to protect myself because going in this direction feels scary? Or is it a fear of being seen as less than or not good enough or something like that? There's all these questions around fear. And then eventually you get to the place where you can trust it to guide you in the right direction so that you're not placed in danger. And then other times it helps you break through with your courage, which is awesome, which is also what this card is about. So then you have the courage to speak up to these controlling, rigid, people. And it's painful, but you can walk away, and you have all new options, because now you're open to new relationships. You don't need to waste your time with those people anymore if they're going to keep treating you that way. So, okay, well, I think that's it for today. Thanks, you guys. Take good care.